I will give this lecture, The French and European Approach Toward Hep C Elimination. These are my disclosures. So the goal of this lecture will be to present the situation of Hep C in Europe and in France in particular. You know that direct-acting antivirals with excellent efficacy, favorable safety, represent a unique opportunity to achieve Hep C elimination. We have seen the Australian models, some US models, and we will discuss the European and specifically the French approach toward Hep C programs and to identify models to achieve elimination. So why Europe and why France? Because I think that the organizers know that France now is leading Europe, but also because of a very strong friendship between US and France and among science and doctors. And we have a very good relationship, even though we are stronger when we shake hands. So I will follow this agenda. First, great drugs, direct-acting antivirals. So we have the tools. Then the epidemiology in Europe, in France. Then how we manage our patients, also the same in Europe and France. Remaining challenges and take-home messages. So we have great drugs with different families, protease inhibitors, NS5 inhibitors, polymerase inhibitors. You are familiar with these drugs, which achieve high chance to cure, a very good safety. You have all the structures, and development has been very fantastic with the revolution, many excellent treatments now available. There has been priorities for these treatments with very high chance to cure, higher than 95%, good safety, and also secondary priorities like easy to use, short durations, few drug-drug interactions. So we achieve all these priorities. We have, SORFEL, EPLUSA, it's the registration trials, Astral studies, and you can see in all patients, in all genotypes, very high efficacy and a good tolerability. If you look a pool analysis of patients with advanced fibrosis or compensated cirrhosis, so the patient with advanced disease also achieve a good success. It's important for the patient and doctors to have this data available because in many countries there's restrictions to patients with advanced fibrosis. If you look for Mavyret, Glecaprevir, Pibrentasvir, also the registration trials have seen that more than 95% of patients were cured with 8 weeks regimens if there was no cirrhosis naive patients. So excellent data. Also in genotype 3, the results were excellent for this treatment, which has been approved by the FDA and the EMA. Zepathyr, Elbasvir, Razoprevir, has high efficacy in different patients' population, those with chronic kidney disease, those with injection drugs. So we have several treatment options with high efficacy. We have also the tools for Hep C screening, enzymes, immunoassays, point-of-care tests. The point-of-care tests do not need high techniques. They are easy to do, rapid diagnostic tests. And you have also dried blood spot, which is also important for patients who are afraid of blood samples. So you have many tools to make the diagnosis. So we have the tools. What about the epidemiology? How many patients are in Europe and in France? You've seen that there's around 70 million of persons living with Hep C worldwide. Europe is very heterogeneous. You have some countries with high prevalence, like Western Europe, Romania, others with lower, like Northern Europe. But you can see that 80% of Hep C infection are in 9 countries in Europe. So the majority are in some countries. And there's this cascade. You know, many patients have not been diagnosed, so we need to improve screening, but we need to improve linkage to care, treatment access to achieve eliminations. Why to look for different countries because there is a virus diversity, so it's different from US. You know that in many countries you have increasing genotype 4. In France, it's 20% of new infections. There's also migrations, so we have many viruses, many diversity, many different genotypes, and so we have to take into account when you make also availability of drugs to be sure that these drugs cover the different genotypes in different countries. And also it's very heterogeneous. For example, in Poland, the majority are genotype 1b, so it's different from other parts of Europe. When you speak about Hep C, we will have to speak also of comorbidities, because if some countries have more difficult access to treatment, you have to educate patients about avoiding obesity, because you know that it's synergistic and it can link to cirrhosis. You can have different comorbidities. I've shown you Europe frequency of obesity in comparison with US. In some countries in Europe, in France, there's 10% of obesity. You can see in UK is similar to US, 30% of obesity, so there was a rationale for the Brexit. They have no good food. The food is not good in UK. Alcohol is a major problem. I think each time we have liver meeting, we have to discuss alcohol. It's how many American adults have drunk in the past year, and you can see percentage of binge beverage, high intake of alcohol. It was more than 30%, so it's a huge problem. So we have to advise patients to reduce alcohol consumption, to control obesity, and of course, to cure Hep C. Alcohol consumption has been reduced in France. Maybe some attendees will not suspect this data, but it's true. You see the wines has been reduced these last 30 years, but it's still an important issue in many countries, in France, in Germany, in UK. Alcohol leads to many deaths. What about the rates of diagnosis and treatment rates? In this cartoon, you have treatment rates in vertical and in horizontal diagnostic rates. And you can see worldwide. So you can see Egypt, which is a country with several millions of patients. So even there has been huge effort and a very strong doctors community, and the plan, few patients in total number have been screened or treated. And you can see the rationale to present France in this meeting is that France has a very high diagnostic rate. More than 70% of patients have been already screened. And also the treatment rates have been high in comparison with other countries, but we have also to improve and to learn more. If you look at Europe, diagnostic and treatment rates, so the size of the bullet corresponds to the total of the patients. And you can see Romania, for example, a huge number of patients and very low access to therapy. I think we have to think worldwide. We cannot just think about one country if you want to eliminate Hep C. And you can see already France, we can achieve the WHO projects by eliminating Hep C, and we will go more in details with the data. This is the most accurate number of patients with a study done in 2011 in France by epidemiological groups. And you can see the total number of patients. I think it's overestimated. It's 190,000. We think now it's more than 100,000 of patients now. But you can see to the risk factors, IV drug use. Interestingly, there was 70% of patients with no risk factors, no IV drug use, no past blood transfusion. So it means that if you do screening by target population, you will miss a large number of patients. It's why we propose universal screening, one test in your life to be sure that you diagnose and then have access to therapy to reach elimination. You see other publication for France when you have 70% diagnosed and around 20,000 treatments per year. This is the total number of treatments in France, and there's an estimation for 2017 that we will reach 20,000 patients treated. So in the next 5 years, we can estimate that we eliminate Hep C in France by treating around 20,000. We may reduce this total number, but I think that there are strong data to be confident for achieving this project. So we saw we have great drugs, we have the data from Europe and France. How do we manage our patients? So there's different screening strategies. Usually they have been opposed. It should be synergistic. You can have a risk-based testing in population at high risk, prisons, people with injection drugs, men who have sex with men, migrant population. You can have a bird cohort like in US, but you can have systematic one time in your life. So we propose systematic one-time testing plus reinforced risk base. So one is not opposed to another, but we will do both together. Candidates for therapy. In the beginning, there was a priority list, patients with advanced fibrosis, because they are at high risk for cancer, for death. But now we think that everyone can have access, because we want to reduce the total number of patients. So now there's universal access, no restriction for Hep C therapy in France and other countries inside Europe. I will show you some examples that we can learn from. One from Netherlands for the national Hep C HIV treatment cascade, and 70% of the patients have been cured already. So if you look for high-risk population, you can reach them because they are well diagnosed, and you can eliminate Hep C in patients with HIV Hep C co-infection. If you look Iceland, so it's a general elimination plan. It's a country with a very low prevalence, but they aim to eliminate Hep C by 2018, so next year, by screening all the patients and a linkage to care for all these patients. So I think that Iceland is one step behind everyone, and they will reach elimination. France, you see indication for therapy, recent evolution. In 2014, there was restriction with fibrosis stage. 2015, we increased the total number with F2. In June 2016, we increased with transplant, genotype 3, and all patients at risk of contamination. So already in 2016, all patients have access to therapy. In January last year, universal treatments, no restriction, and you know that it's a national health reimbursement. Treatment and diagnostic is free for all patients in France without any restriction, so it's easy to treat our patients. The French recommendation is the AFEF, Association Française pour l'Étude du Foie, French Association for the Study of the Liver. They say that we need universal access to DEA, universal screening, and for all types of population, including vulnerable ones, prisoners, people with injection drugs, so it has been implemented. Because I agree, it's not just to say that you have a plan or you have a theoretical plan, but is it implemented and what are the results? So you can see modelization in France, the total number of patients, which was a little overestimated, like in worldwide, because we know that now it's more 70 millions. And so in 5 to 10 years, we will achieve the reduction in the total number of patients with now no restriction. But what was fantastic is that we already saw reduction in mortality. This is the French ANRS cohort. So it's a cohort with large number of patients, and you see the patient who receive direct-acting antivirals with bridging fibrosis, advanced cirrhosis. You see a reduction in hepatocellular carcinoma, a reduction in decompensation of cirrhosis, a reduction in liver mortality. And this was expected, but later, not already. So already we see the result of treating more patients. So we saw together that we have great drugs, that we have a very heterogeneous number of patients in Europe, according to the country. We saw how we manage our patients. Now, what are the remaining challenges? So, education is very important. I will see that we need to increase screening in PYD, in patients with injection drug use, in migrants. And finally, we will look at the take-home message. So this is the WHO goals, increasing screening, diagnostic rate, linkage to care. This is the ASCENT study in US, when you see that if you increase the prescribers, the compliance and result will be excellent. But just to mention, you have to increase the prescribers, but not without training. We have to train everyone. So education will be essential to inform about compliance, drug-drug interaction, treatment, etc. This is our therapeutic patient education models in Beaujon Hospital with Patrick Marcelin and other doctors. The patient is the center of all the decisions, and we have the doctors, but we have also addiction specialists for alcohol, dietitian, hepatologists, psychological support. So we take the patient for all comorbidities to help him in the future. PYD is a future challenge, and so there's underdiagnosed in Europe. There's poor linkage to care. You see the screening was not very good, the diagnostic rates, the linkage to care. And so there's patient-related barriers, but also, more interesting, there are physician-related barriers. Some doctors think compliance will be not good, we should not treat this patient, and we know nowadays that treatment has high efficacy in this population, so with very good compliance, and also reinfection is rare in this patient population, that there's no barriers to treat patients with injection drug use. We should make integration of Hep C screening in service used by PYD to improve testing rates. So we should go to the patient and not the patient come to the hospitals. You know that some patients will not come to the hospital. So we will have to adapt to have flexibility, and there will be only one model. We need also to reduce Hep C prevalence among migrants, and this is also an experience from Netherlands. We know that there's high prevalence among migrants, but there's stigma, there's restriction, there's difficult access to therapy. So if we want to elimination, we will have to discuss about migrants. And we need to care for all humans, no patient left behind. I spoke of France, of Europe, we spoke in US, but we have to speak about Africa and Asia. Africa, there's a huge number of patients worldwide. There's no access to diagnostic tools, no access to therapies, and so we have to help everyone and to work everyone together. Finally, as a take-home message, how we will achieve Hep C elimination? By prevention, harm reduction, infection control, blood safety. By awareness, increasing awareness, fights barrier, stigma, advocacy. Finally, test and treat strategy, screening universal, linkage to care, treat, to achieve Hep C elimination. Thank you for your attention.